Hey everybody, I driving around doing a couple of QC checks and stuff, and something that I'm starting to notice more and more as it starts to get hotter and hotter is that you're starting to see people run their irrigation more, which is good, and we've been screaming that and we've been preaching it to everybody. Make sure you're watering. One of the common, I don't know if it's a myth, I'm not real sure why people do it or if they even realize what they're doing, but one thing I want to clear the air on is watering is good. I'm glad you're watering, but I want to go ahead and get clear on when you should water. And I want to dive a little deeper into that as well as to the reasonings behind it. You know, you always hear people talk about you want to water early in the morning, later at night, stuff like that. There's multiple reasons for doing this. Some of the main reasons that you want to do this is that at nighttime, the sun's not out, it's not really as hot. The wind is typically not blowing near as much, and these are all positive contributing factors to you irrigating the yard. You know, when the wind's not blowing, you're not going to get drift nearly as bad from the overspray. The heat isn't going to cause evaporation. These are all things that you got to really take into account. When you water in the middle of the day, the sun's out, that water that sits on the surface, a lot of that water isn't going to have nearly as much time to absorb into the ground, and the plants aren't going to be able to reap the benefits of it because the hot sun's going to cause it to evaporate. Usually during the day also the wind's blowing hotter or higher, so you tend to get a lot of overspray and drift from the wind. Another thing too is the wind causes the water to dry out. It's the water that might be sitting on the surface of the ground. If you got a lot of wind that's blowing, all that wind will kind of tend to make the ground dry out. So another kind of uncommon or not so well thought of reason for wanting to water late at night as well is that typically the requirements of the city water system isn't nearly as high in the middle of the night as it is, say, 7 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. What I mean by that is that typically people are home taking showers early in the morning when they wake up, late in the evening when they get home, they're washing clothes, washing dishes. All this water usage creates a demand on the city water system. And what ends up happening is that while you are getting water, you might only be getting pressure at, say, 80% of what you actually need. So you might not realize it, you might not see it. The system might be working at 80% capacity, and most people might not realize that is okay, but it's not as good as it could be. And the system's not putting out quite as many gallons per minute as it should, or your nozzles might not be reaching quite as far as they should. So these are all things that have to be taken into consideration. It's not that it's just some old wives' tale, well, it's just better to water your yard early in the morning, late at night. There's reasonings behind it. So just remember that if you're watering, which you should be, and I hope you are, you need to be watering frequently. Remember that you want to make sure that you get a good soak, and then you want to let everything dry out before you water again. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask them down here in the comments. I'll be glad to reach out and respond and help you out with anything that I can. So hope y'all have a great day. Talk to you next time.